right, I've been trying over the past couple of days to make sense of this AI stuff. I mean, artificial intelligence, for those who don't know, that's what it means. And it is a game changer, they tell us. I've got somebody who, well, these days plies his trade in that space. Former journalist. Well, I suppose once you are a journalist, you stay one. But these days involved in consulting around artificial intelligence. Before we get to him...
Hi, morning, Aden and team. Look, was wary of AI, but I'm telling you that it makes life so much easier. And I've always said technology is there to make our lives easier. Don't fight it, work with it. And it's to the point now where my car, it is a particular type of vehicle that has an AI. So it's very basic. Sometimes a little bit slow to start, but if I need to do something, if I need to contact somebody, I can do it while I'm driving without my hands leaving the steering wheel. And for me, that is a big help because time. This AI of mine helps me save time.
Yeah. All right, there we go. You know, I mean, that's what it is. That's what it's meant to be. Ryan Fortune is our guest this morning. Now, if you're my age and you say, listen, that name, Ryan Fortune, where the hell's it come from? Well, one-time news anchor on this radio station very many years ago. You were here for how many years?
About 3 years in the beginning when it was still called P4.
Yeah, there we go. He was.
People may recognize my sign-off, which was, and that's the news on P4. I'm Ryan Fortune.
Hey. That was a long time ago. Yeah, these days, plays in the AI space. Now, I mean, it's probably going to mean a lot more to you than it would to the other two in studio with us this morning. But AI and so on. I mean, I think our first foray into it as a species was this, you know, many years ago, Monday night.
Night Rider.
It's quite eerie.
Yeah.
What is that?
Anyway, we just had that guy about talking cars.
In Silicon Valley, 110 miles. All right. Might as well put on some music. All these weird gadgets, you think they'd give you a radio.
What would you like to hear?
What the hell was that?
Do you wish further information on Silicon Valley?
Hell no, I want to know who you are and how you're listening in.
There's no reason for increased volume. I am scanning your interrogatives quite satisfactorily. I am the voice of Night Industry 2000's microprocessor. KITT for easy reference. A kit if you prefer.
No, I don't prefer, and what's more, I don't intend to drive around in a car that talks back to me, so either Devin pulls your plug or you get yourself another driver.
All right, that was the first time as kids we even had the concept of machines that could speak back to us. I mean, there were robots before, right?
Yeah.
But never machines and things that could intuitively speak and engage and so on. Here we are now, and it's commonplace in your car for your car to do what you tell it to and for it to speak back to you. You know? So this AI thing, let's start at the beginning. What is artificial intelligence?
Well, it has a long history, much longer than we understand. I think today it goes back to the 1940s. Actually, if you look at it historically, and so it's basically machine learning. So if you think about what Elon Musk has been trying to do, which is create neural networks that are able to digest huge amounts of information and see patterns within them, and then use those patterns to predict make future predictions on the basis of past patterns. So it's been going on since the 1940s, and it's if you think about the development of computers. Back in the 1960s, I believe, they used to have these giant computers in warehouses. With,
took up entire buildings.
Yeah, exactly. And then it took about 40, 50 years for it to get to, your phone. So basically, we have the same computing power that was in those big machines. We have it in our phones these days. And it's the same with AI. So those systems that were so onerous and huge back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s are now installed on our phones, and so we are now the beneficiaries of lots of scientific research, and seems all new to us, but it's been around for a while. And also, I mean, it surrounds us all the time. It's like electricity. I mean, what's this? Siri and Alexa are AI powered. The algorithms that drive our behavior and what we see on social media are also AI. You know, they track our behavior, what we watch, what we look at, and they feed us more of the same in order to keep us hooked. And so,
and pretty much the same with apps like Spotify. They start aggregating what you like, what you don't like. Netflix has got AI built into it. If you like this movie, they recommend other movies to you. So, so AI lives either as a separate thing in the form of ChatGPT, or it is the aggregated information that it spits back at you as it learns what you like and what you don't like. So your Google searches, boom, suddenly they get tinkered to the kinds of things. The results would then come up to almost suit your previous search behavior.
You get personalized recommendations on things. So it's become these days, I believe, almost like electricity. You know, it's going to become more and more so embedded in our lives all the time, everywhere. And so that is the magic of it. It seems like a lot of it is like magic. I mean, the way people talk about it these days, when you interact with it as if it's a personal human, it's taken on this human form in the form of ChatGPT, which I think is absolutely amazing.
So talk to me about those things. ChatGPT, there's this new thing, Deepseek. I mean, what are they? And why is it causing so much controversy?
Well, these are what they call large language models, and so you get different kinds of language models. So what's happened is they've fed huge amounts of a particular type of information. So you could get, for example, if you fed an LLM a million research papers, and you said, this is all the research on a particular topic, and you could then build a machine that, if you were to query it, it would be able to go instantaneously within seconds and go and search that entire body of work and spit out information that's relevant to your query, right? If you fed it the entire history of 20th century photography or the entire history of modern art, and then use it as an image generator, and you say, well, I want a particular image in the style of this particular photographer with those kind of qualities. So you give it a certain input and you say it needs to look like this, and it would spit back to you. It would then go through all of the history of that image or those kinds of images, and then give it back to you in a new form based on your queries. So that's what it really is. So it's basically these machines that have been fed tons of information. And humans have been doing this. So basically, they've been training these models. So I think a few years ago, it was let's train these models on what is a dog, and you feed it a million images of a dog, and then eventually the thing recognizes what a dog looks like, and it can always tell you what a dog looks like. And then you show it a picture of a dog, that's a dog, And so you test it and you train it in that way, and that's what's happened now, and they've become so sophisticated. I remember when Midjourney came out, and you wanted it to create pictures of a human being, and then the hands were always a bit funny. The hands were always a bit convoluted and weird, and that's because it wasn't trained enough on hands. But the more you train it on hands, now it's perfect, And so it's just these models that have been trained over time with copious amounts of information, and then you are able to query them, and then it gives you back the feedback you want, right?
Okay, so you've done a very good job, and thank you for explaining what it is and how it came about. How do we use this? I mean, you know me, I'm slow to adopt new things. I love technology and so on, but I've lived my life perfectly without a machine needing to correct my spelling or to write an email for me or to make a reservation on an airline for me. Why do I now need to start buying into this? What am I missing? What am I possibly losing out on, Ryan?
Well, I mean, you'd be like the people in New York, for example, in the early 20s, who were driving horse and cart and living with millions of thousands of horses in the city, and pooing everywhere. And then someone came and said, well, here's a car. Instead of riding your horse and buggy, here's a car. Would you not rather prefer this? And you'd say, well, no, I'm not really interested in driving a car. I'd prefer to drive the horse and buggy, and I'm happy with the way I am. It gets me from A to B. And then within 10 years, there'd be no more horse and buggies, and you'd be the only one driving a horse and buggy, and everyone else would be driving cars. So that is the choice you have to make. I mean, you get people who do that, make that choice to not adopt new technology, and they obviously are willing to
be left behind.
Yeah.
You saying I'm being left behind, right?
Yes, that's what I'm getting. That was the gist of what he was saying.
I'm saying that. Yeah, there's actually a name for those types of people. They're called Luddites. Luddites, yes. You can
from
the
Bible.
Look it up in ChatGPT what it means. It's basically a tribe of people who decided that they were going to reject all forms of modern technology, and they were going to live in a sort of not necessarily primitive way, but a sort of a prehistoric medieval way.
It's the same as the people who didn't want mobile phones because I've got a home phone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to use the ticky box, and and so, and that's the thing.
All right,
or pages,
It makes pages. Geez, I mean that was the only way we communicated at one point.
What's pages?
You see, you had a little beeper that used to carry. You'd get a message.
Doctors still make use of that.
Well, in some cases, because it's secure messaging. I know nurses, doctors. In fact, I mean, I think the last network shut down in Australia just a couple of years ago, 2-3 years back. The last of them got phased out. Right. Okay. So that's the background. That's what we're missing out on if we don't jump on board. So what is it capable of? What is it going to do? And is it going to make us redundant? We'll get to that part of the conversation on the other side of a news update. D3 night at 9 o'clock. Fascinating discussion around what's going on with artificial intelligence. I mean, it's early days yet. I say early days. I mean, we're in the infancy of understanding what it is. In some cases, people have never heard it until we broached the subject the other morning. Had no idea what it was capable of. We've got an AI, somebody who plays in the consulting space around artificial intelligence. Ryan Fortune, one-time newscaster on this radio station. We played a song the other morning. I don't have it with me now, but I mean, we played a song the other morning that was generated on AI about Cape Town called Windy City. The music, the vocals, the tune, the lyrics, all of it aggregated through a bunch of prompts.
Yeah.
There was a whole song that they loved. They even gave it 8 out of 10. They gave it 8 out of 10.
I was disappointed that I gave it so high.
No, because that's what it's capable of.
Yes.
This artificial intelligence can be creative. It's not just the thing that spits stuff at you. All fair and well saying, listen, book me a table at the restaurant at 7:30. That's fine.
Yeah.
But when you say, I want steak, I want the seaside view, and I want convenient parking, for it then to go and find you the right restaurant, that's the skill of what AI is able to deliver. How do businesses benefit from this? Because that's ultimately where you're playing your trade these days.
Yeah, so just before I get to business, I mean, I think that the thing to understand is that the AI is only as good as your inputs, right? What you get out of it is only as good as what you put into it. So one of the things that was actually viewed as a potential new job last year, when a couple of years ago, when ChatGPT came out, was the role of prompt engineer, because it actually is a particular skill that you need in order to get the best output from the AI, right? And again, coming to the question of what is going to be the impact of this technology in terms of changing or job displacement, it's going to displace lots of people in lots of industries. Particularly, not necessarily the working class. You'd be surprised. It's actually white-collar workers like lawyers, like receptionists are possibly going to be replaced by chatbots. So a lot of white-collar workers are going to be replaced and are finding themselves being replaced in various parts of the world, because the AI is able to ingest lots of information and then respond in a way that is quite sensible and largely accurate, right? When it comes to using AI in business, again, it comes down to what are you gonna what is the problem that you have in your business, or what kind of pain points are you encountering in your business? What are the sticking points? Are there repetitive tasks in your business that can be shifted to AI? AI is really good at those kind of things. So data entry, dealing with customers online, or having a chatbot that's on 24/7 that can speak to people at scale. So instead of having a call center with human beings answering the phone or responding to your customer queries, you can have an AI chatbot that's trained on your business data and that can actually speak in multiple languages. So for example, if you have a restaurant somewhere and you are in Cape Town and you know that it's always tourist season, people come from all over the world, many different countries, you can install a chatbot in your business that will respond in 130 languages, right? And translate immediately so that people can engage with your business in their native language, right? It can give you it can provide you data-driven insights, because it's able to process large amounts of information and then tell you, well, I think this is the best action to take over the next 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
It can produce content for you. And these days with agents, for example, you can almost automate the content creation. It can tell you, well, this is the best time to post based on this historical data that you've given me about when people have engaged with your posts most often, or what kind of hashtags get the most engagement. You can feed that into an AI, and it can then spit out some insights that you can then apply to your business and then grow your social media. So it really is it's a tool that you should really view as a co-pilot in your business that is able to free up some human capacity, and that needs human oversight. You can't just let it go off and run off and do its own thing.
Then it takes over the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that movie with Will Smith.
Yeah.
We suddenly the robots go dirty.
Yeah.
The robots go dirty, and then they tell us we must stay at home, and they are running.
They're running things. Yeah. So you need that sort of control over it, and so I think the thing about it is that in any field, any new technology, there are always risks and benefits, right? And there's also at the end of the day something they call the risk of unintended consequences, right? So you don't know the guy Henry Ford, when he made the first combustion engine motor vehicle, couldn't have thought about climate change, like 70, 80 years later. It was just a sputtering exhaust fumes, and then millions of cars later we sit with the problem. So that's the law of unintended consequences. So I think there are going to be intended consequences and unintended consequences with this new technology, and we have to be aware of them instead of trying to bury our heads in the sand and say, well, we don't know about it.
He's funny, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my mother's quite a religious person. The other day she showed me a book, The Mark AI and the Mark of the Beast.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, well.